All right, what's up? My name is Michael, and I've been running for about 7 years now and lifting for 3. And in this video, I just want to walk you through my exact process of how I went from like this super skinny runner to where I am today, where I've built the body of my dreams that's 15 pounds heavier than I used to be without killing my running performance. And on top of that, without making the gym, without making training my entire life, and being on track to beat my high school PR of 15:59 within the next year in the 5K. So if that sounds good to you, stick around, watch the full 20 minutes. Don't click off this video because you're about to get some immense value. Hope you enjoy. All right, so this video is just gonna be outlining my transformation from this super skinny collegiate runner with bad mental health, poor relationship with running, just hated the way he felt and looked and was just under eating, to where I am now where I've built 15 pounds of lean muscle and my running speed is pretty on par with how it was in college using the fast and jacked method. So stick around if you want to have just immense value in this, if you're a skinny runner looking to build muscle without killing his performance. How did I get here? So nobody in my family runs or lifts weights. So I've not been training for 20 plus years. I actually just started running about 7 years ago. So I came from a background competitive running through high school, joined my school's track team. But when it came to building muscle, I mean, I didn't know anything about that since in track we would lift, but more so for endurance. So I turned to the internet. And if you've done the same, looking up how to build muscle online, you've probably found a lot of BS. That's all just confusing, conflicting, and unsustainable at the end of the day. From mostly influencers who don't run, they're bodybuilders, most likely on gear, and their advice is for people on gear. So when I tried this, my physique didn't change for this picture right here is from my first 6 months of lifting, and I saw zero progress in my body visually, still skinny, didn't have much muscle definition. My numbers in the gym were going up, and because I was doing that on top of my running, my race times were dropping too. So all around, just a complete shit show, for lack of a better word. I tried every workout split, thinking that was the reason why, because my workout wasn't optimized. Still lifting 6 times a week, 5 to 6 days a week, doing push-pull legs, the fat, hybrid plans, high volume, everything, and nothing just stuck. And after watching hours of fitness content, I just still felt like I was guessing every single day. So it took me years of trial and error to finally figure out a system that worked for runners like me. And this picture was taken about a week ago, right after my 5K time trial, doing a 16:46 5K on the road compared to my 16:36 5K on the track in college, which is insane, a 10-second difference, and I'm still getting faster. So who's this for? If you're sick of being the fit guy who still looks skinny with your shirt off, this is for you. If you've tried lifting but ended up sore, burnt out, or slower, this is for you. If you're tired of under eating and still feeling drained every time you run, this is for you. If you want to build muscle without losing speed or obsessing over macros, this is for you. If you're ready to become the strongest, most confident version of yourself, this is for you. Now, who is this not for? If you're looking for a quick fix, a 30-day shred, or a shortcut, this is not for you. We're not here to half-ass. We're here to give a full commitment. It's going to take time, and it's not going to take 30 days to get to where I am or just where you want to be. It's going to take months, maybe even years, depending on where you want to be. If you think that you can get strong without eating enough or recovering properly, this is not for you. If you just want a new workout, but you're not willing to shift your mindset or identity, because that's where everything starts, that's where all the change happens, is inside before you can actually see the physical changes, then this is not for you. If you only want to look good but don't care about running fast and becoming limitless, this is not for you. Go find a bodybuilding coach or some other coach. I'm here to help guys who want to run fast and be jacked, not just be jacked, It's not as fun. And if you're not ready to stop living like the old version of yourself, this is definitely not for you, because if you want to see change, you have to make change. So here's the truth. Every runner thinks they can't build muscle without getting bulky and slow, taking gear, and spending hours in the gym. I thought this way. Many runners that I was working with or running with thought this way, but it's just not true. All that you need is a sustainable strength plan that works with your running rather than against it. So not going 6 days a week, not tracking every macro to the point where it's unsustainable. You're not trying to be like an elite bodybuilder. You're trying to be a runner who's also jacked. So you got to train like one. The reason why most runners fail is because they're lifting wrong, going 6 days a week, training like a bodybuilder, under eating, right? Not even eating enough to support their running. And they try to add in lifting, and that just makes things even worse. And then on top of all that, giving 100% into running and 100% into lifting, you're taking a powerlifting bodybuilding plan and throwing that on top of your running schedule where you're doing 80, 90 miles a week. That's just not going to end up well where you want it to be. So just think about it like this. this like coffee mug right here, right? It's filled to the brim with liquid, and you pour into two different glasses. One glass is for your running, one glass is for your lifting. You can't put all of this into each one, right? Something has to give. So figure out your priority, whether it's running or lifting, and go from there. And last but not least, lifting and running should be a priority in your life, but it shouldn't have to make up your entire lifestyle. Don't make training your identity, because if you fail at that, then you feel like a failure in itself. Speaking from personal experience, I myself felt like a failure because I made running my whole identity. I made lifting my whole identity, and I just felt more burnt out than ever. Each time I didn't PR, I'd beat myself up after that, which I'll go more into detail in the next couple slides. So don't worry, I'm not gonna let that happen to you. You don't have to train like a bodybuilder or lift 6 days a week to build lean muscle and still run fast. You just need a system that works with your running and not against it. And if you want this to be you, I'm gonna show you exactly how to build lean muscle that complements your running, not slow it down. 2, finally look strong and athletic without spending hours in the gym. 3, eat in a way that fuels performance and muscle without tracking every bite. 4, run fast, look good, and still have the energy to live your life, to do all the other tasks throughout the day without feeling completely burnt out after your running lift. And 5, align your life to the version of yourself that you want to become. If you don't know me, this is my story. Upon seeing this first picture over here, my confident looking smirk, these glasses, and this periodic table of elements t-shirt, you probably would have thought I was the most popular kid in school, did all the sports, but no, you'd be wrong. I started from the complete bottom. I was skinny, anxious, played video games for 8+ hours a day, and I had asthma. I hated sports. I hated playing outside. I stayed inside as much as I could because I was not happy with how my body was doing. I felt like just weak, skinny, and just honestly just embarrassed with myself. So I tried to escape by playing video games all day. And that luckily changed in high school when I joined the school's track team, where it gave me discipline, it gave me confidence in myself, and I had another outlet to put my work ethic into other than video games that actually taught me a lot more skills than video games ever could. But unfortunately, it became my whole identity. In my last 2 years of competitive running, from high school to college, I suffered some major burnout. My races weren't going the way they wanted to go. My performance just kept tanking. My mental health suffered, and I just hated how skinny and weak I felt. So I got into lifting. And my first 8 months of lifting, I ended up making zero progress because I just wasn't training the way I should have been training. Like I mentioned earlier, doing 100% of lifting on top of my running. So I quit running and saw some results. But unfortunately, after a couple more months of that, of not running and just lifting, I got bulky, lost my abs, and that's where this picture was taken, where I just got bulky, slow, and overall just directionless. I was partying a lot, drinking alcohol, trying out weed, and just not being the person I wanted to be. This subconsciously, I knew something was wrong. I always felt like shit. My energy was down. Things that are simple to me now, like making my bed, taking a shower before I go to bed, they felt like so hard to do because I had zero direction in this life and zero purpose. And that's when I realized I didn't want to be elite at one thing. I didn't want to be the best runner. I didn't want to be the best lifter. I wanted a all around just like a strong, healthy body where I can still compete in my running, still do endurance stuff, but also have muscle, have like a good looking body. We're not super skinny. So I rebuilt my body, rebuilt my mindset, and now I'm proud of what I see in the mirror. I still run fast, and training is just part of my life and not all of it. I'm constantly improving in my running and lifting. Like, of course, I have my downs, but compared to back then, I'm actually able to bounce back from it because I have other things to fall back on if I do feel like crap. Where running, lifting, is not the end of the world. If I don't do good at it, I'll just come back and do it, hit it again later. So the mindset has changed, the identity has changed. Now I'll be introducing you to the Fast and Jacked method. I built this through trial and error, running, lifting, burning out, and trying everything until I finally created a simple, repeatable method that works for runners who want to build muscle, stay fast, and live a balanced life. Now I'm breaking it all down for you step by step so you don't have to waste years spinning your wheels like I did. In the following steps, I'm going to outline the entire process A to Z of what I did to accomplish these results so you too can use my Fast and Jacked method to build lean muscle without slowing down or making training your entire life. Now this method is broken into 3 different pillars, with the first being your identity, the second one talking about strength training and how to actually structure it with your running, and the third being your top tier fueling, so you're actually eating enough to support your goals. Motivation is not a long-term solution to becoming the man that you were always meant to be. Unlike alignment, aligning yourself to where you want to go. You might not be the real you. The version of you right now might be shaped by fear, conditioned by doubt, programmed to live by other people's standards, but underneath that, there's a version of you that already knows what to do. He builds lean muscle and runs fast. He makes promises to himself and keeps them. He lives the life that he wants to live. And I best describe this through the movie Limitless, where Bradley Cooper, like the character he plays, is like this struggling author who fails to do anything. His like life is a mess. He takes a pill and it all gets better. It's like that's like the best way I would summarize the movie. And becoming limitless in real life, there's no pill. But the real life equivalent would be to switching your identity. Think about what person you want to become and becoming that person. And the method to do so is by reverse engineering. And that's best described by this quote: "Success is not an accident. Failure is not an accident either. In fact, success is predictable. It leaves tracks." Brian Tracy. Success and failure are not an accident. If you want to get jacked and fast, you got to think about like what habits you need to do to get to that point. And failure is not an accident because you becoming skinny, you becoming fat, whatever it is, that's all due to your daily habits, whether or not you're being consistent with your training, what you're eating, et cetera, et cetera. So instead of asking, what should I do? I started asking myself, who do I want to become when I was feeling more directionless in life? And through the reverse engineering method, there's 3 steps. Step number 1 is to identify who you want to become, finding your North Star, your identity. Because if you don't have an end goal, if you don't know who you want to become, then you can end up somewhere completely different than where you wanted to go. I always use the analogy of an airplane going to its destination. Let's say the airplane is you. The flight path are the actions you take to get to your destination, which could be you running fast, looking good, building muscle. If the airplane is completely off course, it could end somewhere totally different than where intended. And if it doesn't have any plan at all, or no flight path, then it's not going anywhere. So like you as the airplane, if you're doing the wrong things, you can end up somewhere completely different where you want to go. And if you have no plan at all, then you can like stay stagnant. Knowing the destination is great, but if you don't know the flight path, then that's completely useless. That's where step 2 comes in, when you break down the habits to get there. What time you wake up? What do you eat? How do you train? And step 3 is just taking those habits from step 2 and starting it now, not later, now. That's how you get to your success. And this method of reverse engineering, it doesn't just apply to fitness, it applies to all areas of life too. So why does this work? Because subconsciously, you know your identity. Think back to my story, how I was the gamer kid, right? I didn't have a lot of friends. And do you think I was happy at that point? Because no, I wasn't. Because that was my subconscious telling me, like, this is not the path you're supposed to be going on. That's not the identity. The identity I had at the point was imposed from other people onto me. I was supposed to be like this recluse. I was supposed to be shy and awkward and all that stuff. But that was never meant to be me. And thanks to going into running, that helped open me up a bit. That helped put me back on right on track. That's why that felt good, and why my life before that didn't feel good. You're not supposed to feel good when you're doing bad things, right? Like that's why guilt and regret exist, because that's just simply coming from not doing the actions that lead you to where you want to go. Like when I dropped running, obviously it felt good for a bit, but after that, in the long term, I felt like crap. My body suffered, my health suffered. When I got into drinking a lot too, like I felt good in the moment, but afterwards I felt like shit. Not just from the hangover, but just from not being the person I wanted to become. But when you do stuff that aligns with your identity, life begins to feel right. Your confidence and self-respect grow. Things that felt impossible become manageable, and you become limitless. All right, next pillar, performance-driven strength. Strength training designed to build muscle without killing your speed or keeping you in the gym 24/7. So how do you lift as a runner? Spend 2 hours in the gym, hit all the machines, lift 6 to 7 days a week, have the best bench press? Nope. Just instead, lift 2 to 4 days out of the week based on your mileage and your goals. And for the splits, do full body for 2 to 3 days and upper lower for 4 days. That's it. You don't have to do these crazy routines that are preached online. That's made for people on gear, by people on gear, Like you're natty, you're running, and the worst thing you can do is have that much volume in your training. Back to the analogy with the coffee cup, right? You can't pour all your things into one glass and expect it to work out that way. You can't take 100% of one thing and 100% another and put it into that. It doesn't work. You're gonna get half-assed results that way. Prioritize your movements over muscles, the push, like your bench press and your shoulder press, the pull, like your pull-ups and your rows, hinge, your deadlifts, the carries, like your farmer carries, or just like a grocery bag carries, or some sort of carry, squats, squatting, lunging, core, like your hanging leg raises, planks. By prioritizing movements, you build a balanced, athletic body where nothing is getting neglected. You're not spending hours in the gym trying to like work on your biceps and lateral raises and all that stuff, right? You're going to prioritize the movements that build strong, lean muscle that works with your training rather than against it. And as a byproduct, looks aesthetic as well. And the next point is to focus on progressive overload. So think about your running workouts, right? You've got your 4x800s on 1 week. The next week, what do? You don't do the same thing. You either put it up by like 1 extra rep. So instead of doing 4, you do 5, or you go faster in the next one, right? Otherwise, if you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to stagnate. Same thing for the gym. You don't just do a 115 bench press one week for 6 reps and do that for like the rest of your lifting career. You either got to go up in weight or go up in the reps. And over time, as you keep doing that, you're going to progress like 90% of people in the gym who are still like lifting the same way, still lifting the same reps, and wondering why their body still looks the same after like 12 years of lifting. So how do you actually schedule this? Well, if you want to keep your hard days hard and your easy days easy, what you can do is just to split your lifts and your runs apart by 4 to 6 hours on the same day, like your tempo interval sprints. Do that in the morning and maybe like lift in the afternoon/nighttime. Method 2 is the one I personally do and recommend. Just lift on your easy run or off run days. So here's a visual representation of what this might look like. If you don't have a lot of time to lift or you just have a lot of mileage, go ahead and do the 2-day split. I currently do the 3-day split. It's like a nice happy medium, but I do have some clients in the 4-day split and they found success in that. So just choose what works for you, screenshot this, put it into your own schedule, training plan, and just follow these principles. So why does this work? Well, it doesn't compete with your mileage or your workouts because it's spread out just nice and evenly. You're not doing too much lifting and you're lifting in a way that supports your running rather than working against it. You're not in the gym for more than 4 days a week, so you're saving time not going to the gym 6-7 days a week and it's completely killing your body. Separating your hard runs and lifts, that leads to lower fatigue and more recovery, which leads to higher output. So you can hit both of them with the highest amount of intensity. And finally, that's going to make your lifting feel strategic and not random. No more walking to the gym feeling purposeless like a chicken with its head cut off. And the last pillar is top tier fueling, which is just fueling in a way that builds lean muscle and where you're able to sustain a high output for your workouts without obsession or complexity. And what this looks like is high protein, carb supported meals to fuel both muscle, mileage, and your workouts. That way you can make sure you're actually recovering and you have enough energy to sustain your workouts. I follow the 80-20 rule. If you've done like 80-20 running, you probably get like the basic gist of it. 80% is clean, 20% is more like, I wouldn't say dirty, but like more flexible, right? So like, as you can see here, I put a picture of my steaks that I've got. Steak, ground beef, Greek yogurt, eggs, the staples. That's like the 80% of my diet. But then I'll have like a weekly pizza or something with my girlfriend, or like my friends want to go out to eat, and then I have that 20% to allocate to it. So it's sustainable. You're not going to be the guy who brings a scale out on vacation. So you can keep your sanity and not have to obsess over your diet to stay lean year round. And when you center your carbs on your workouts, you're going to ensure you get the most amount of output out of your workouts. That way you can ensure you're hitting it with the most amount of intensity, which means you get the most amount of results out of it. And if you're somebody who likes to train fasted in the morning like I do, then what you can do is to put your carbs around like your last meal of the day before bed as well. So for dinner, pasta, rice, whatever, you can stomach down, and that way you can top your body off with the energy it needs to get your workout done without having to eat in the morning. If you're doing like a race or like a tempo or interval session in the morning, I still highly recommend doing like orange juice, honey, banana, or something. But if it's just like an easy run, you don't have to worry about that. So with this method of fueling, you're going to be fixing the under eating that's killing your recovery, not just in the gym, but in your running as well. And you'll be building muscle and building endurance. And on top of that, you're eating with structure rather than restrictions. So no keto, no carnivore, none of this BS crash diets, just eating in a way that's sustainable that you can do for like the rest of your life. So you're gonna be outperforming these people who are on these crash diets who do it for like a month and then quit, because you'll be doing this for years. And over time, like you may see less immediate results, but over time, you're gonna see more results than people who quit early on. And finally, you're just gonna feel more energized throughout the day, where you're eating clean, so your energy levels go up, or you're just eating enough, so that hard task after your workouts that usually feel impossible because you're so tired and dead and sore, it's going to be able to become manageable. Or you can even add lifting into your workouts now without it becoming a huge chore. So in short, I found the balance that I was chasing for years. I used to spend hours just consuming fitness content, trying to optimize my workouts, but all that it did was leave me more confused. I was under eating, constantly drained after training, and frustrated that my progress stalled. It always felt like I had to choose one or the other, but that changed when I aligned myself to the identity I wanted, combined running and lifting in a way that actually complemented each other, and fueled in a way that supported both muscle growth and performance. And now I'm running times close to what I hit when I was 15 pounds lighter, but this time I'm stronger, more confident, and just proud of what I see in the mirror. Training no longer consumes my life, it just supports it. And I found this balance that I was chasing for years. Now that you understand exactly how this process works, I have an offer for you. If you're a skinny runner who's tired of looking like you don't train, you're done chasing performance at the cost of everything else, and you're trying to build muscle but you're scared of losing your speed, and you're ready to walk on the beach, take your shirt off, and actually feel confident, wanting to build lean muscle without sacrificing your speed, and you're keen on feeling strong and energized throughout the day, I have an offer for you that's going to help you build lean muscle without slowing down or making training your entire life. If that sounds like you, click the link in the description down below and book a call with me to see how I can come help you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found immense value in this. This was the exact method that I used to take myself from being a super skinny runner who just hated how I looked, I was underperforming, under eating, to where I am today, where my life's a lot more balanced. I feel great in my body, feel energized throughout the day. Things that were hard at first became manageable over time, and now I built the body of my dreams while still running fast and running at times that were comparable to how I was back then when I was super skinny. So if you want this to be you, and if you need help building muscle as a skinny runner, but you don't want to lose your speed, click the link down below. Let's book a call and see if I can help you out.